When you look at all these companies that you work with, that you speak with, do you feel that we're still behind on the adoption part?
Yes, we are. I think the possibilities are really big by using AI, and I think a lot of people really don't know where to start, how to use, and what it is. And I think a lot of companies don't really understand that they are behind their competition because they have no idea. They just keep going and have no idea what's happening in the world.
Welcome to Women Disrupting Tech. My name is Dirk Jan Hupkes, and on this podcast I give the women who work in tech the platform they need to inspire and empower each other. Join me on a journey into the world of entrepreneurship, funding, biases and role models to discover the strategies for success in the tech industry. In other words, how women can disrupt tech. Are you ready to listen? Hey, welcome back to Women Disrupting Tech, and thank you for listening to episode 89. When today's guest started working in tech, she didn't know if it was right for her. Now, more than a decade later, she's one of the best known experts on using Copilot. So much so that she is in fact Chief Copilot at Wortel, the company that she's working for. She's also a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional and founder of the Dutch Women in Tech community. Her name? Femke Cornelissen. Together with my co-host Hendrika Willemse, Femke and I explore Femke's journey into becoming Chief Copilot at Wortel. Among the many things that we discuss are how AI can accelerate careers and why companies in Europe are still lagging behind, the importance of mindset to overcome self-doubt and manage negativity, and why we need more women in cyber and AI. Of course, we also cover the cool things that you can do with AI in Microsoft products, plus you'll learn a key difference between Microsoft Copilot and ChatGPT. They are both based on OpenAI, but there's a key difference that you want to know about when you start using them. So when you're ready to listen and learn how she's paving the way for more women in AI and cyber as Chief Copilot, please welcome to Women Disrupting Tech, Femke Cornelissen. Hey Femke and Hendrika. Yes, I have a co-host today, Hendrika Willemse. So welcome to you and welcome to Femke. Good to have you, Femke. First question I always ask is how you got into your current job and how you became a Chief Copilot Officer.
Great. Good. Thanks for having me. Really great to be here in this podcast. And how I got in my current job. Good question. I started in tech like 12 years ago. And I didn't really know that I wanted to work in tech. So that's a fun thing that happened to me. So I was starting in a marketing role at a small Microsoft partner, and I really liked making blog posts for that company. Like everything what's new around Microsoft technology, I'm finding out, making blog posts, making marketing materials for that Microsoft partner, and as well I did a lot of other things because there was not enough work for only a marketing role, but I did a lot of other things as well. For example, telephone equipment, security issues if there was something like that, as well reception work. I did a lot of things at the same time when I started in tech. But what I really liked starting in tech was that there's always changing. There's always changing a lot in the technology space. So I started there with no idea if I like technology, but I absolutely like, and I really grow in that part, I think, because every year there were changing so many things. So I started in a role with a lot of different things, and after that I started in a role more kind on adoption side and more the technology part. So as a SharePoint consultant, and after that ProSci and adoption part. And that's like 12 years ago. And right now my current role is Chief Copilot at Wortel. And I think everything comes together again because I still like to be with new technology, working with new technology, sharing all the insights that I learned, and bring that all together.
So was that a conscious decision when you moved into the adoption and the SharePoint role, or that basically happened by accident? Was that more of an experimental thing?
No, it happens because I was always the one that wrote and shares about what's new and what's coming and what's new in the Microsoft
Yeah.
space, and it's always going really fast. So my colleagues asked me to share that kind of insights to customers. So that's why their new job roles came, and there was the adoption part as well. So in that time it was like Microsoft Teams was evolving and like moving to the cloud. So I was the one that went to the customer and shared the insights there and share them what we can do. So it happened. It was a good time to start in technology, and I think on a different part than my colleagues at that time, who are really more in the technology side, building their solutions. And when I more in the adoption part, and I really like to help, the customers to see how they really can get the benefits from the products. Yeah, that started a long time ago, but my passion is still there.
Out of curiosity, you weren't sure if you liked tech. What was it that still made you go there?
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought technology is something that always evolves, always changing. If I want to grow and if I want to start in some industry, technology can be a good decision to start there.
Mhm.
Before I worked in technology, I was a photographer, so it was something completely different.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start a family and don't want to travel that much anymore than I did with my own company before that. So technology was something for me that I was thinking, okay, I can do this from everywhere that I want. I don't have to travel if it's needed, and I can start really easy and can do a lot of different things as well, from like when you think about security, or from telephony, or from office, or all kind of ways that you could think about. Okay, I can evolve there and I can making next steps as well. So that was why I thought technology can be a good thing. But I really liked the company that I wanted to work for. I already know a lot of people there, and that was why. But I never thought that I would stay for so long, so many years in the tech part. So it was a surprise that it was so nice, and I think now I never want to leave again, never want to leave anymore. So I'm really happy that it was my first
Yeah.
step.
And you're back to the traveling again.
Yeah, I learned that as well. I thought that I'm not a person to travel a lot and want to be with my family, or want to be a lot of at home. So I learned as well that also a passion for me. Travel, seeing new people, community, inspiration,
Yeah.
going out. So 12 years ago, when I stopped my own company, then that was more about, I thought that I want to have a um, a better situation at home, and now I know that this is me. I need to go out
Yeah.
and I need to travel,
Well,
and
that's
I can
nice.
do the same. Yeah, I can do the
Yeah.
same.
And you found out how to combine the two,
True. Yeah, true.
which is,
So, and I think as well, my hobby around making pictures is still there as well. And
yeah, we
make
can see
me
that on LinkedIn.
probably make it probably special as well, in the combination with sharing insights.
Okay, so does your entrepreneurial background help you in your current
Yeah,
role?
I think as well, yeah. And
Yeah.
I never stop. I always want to want to learn, want to meet new people, always want to see what are new possibilities as well. So I'm Microsoft MVP, most valuable professional. I think that's one of the most lovely things to do, is like talking with product teams, knowing what are the next steps, giving your feedback that you hear from customers as well on products, and then helping others. So helping others, the product teams, but as well people in the community. I think that's how we met as well. Hendrika, we know each
Yes.
other for a long time. It's really important that you, the things that you learn, that you can help others to do the same and inspire them as well.
So, out of curiosity, because AI is sort of, well, your chief Copilot officer.
Mhm.
Copilot is, I'm paraphrasing here, these are my own words, the AI that Microsoft deploys in Office 365.
Yeah,
So, how do you keep
true.
track of what is happening? Because that is actually what you're, well, quote unquote, selling to,
Mhm.
and what you're best known for, that you're pitching these really cool new features of Copilot. How do you keep track of what is happening in the field at all?
Yeah, there's a good question because there's happening a lot, and every day there are new things and there are new things happening in the AI field. What we didn't know that is there and you can use now. So it's going fast, and I always say the train of Microsoft is going really fast. But I think it's important to be like curious and keep learning by yourself, finding out what you can use, read, testing, talking with people, go to, like, for example, community events, and share your knowledge. I think that's really important. So one of the things that I do, everything that I learn, I try to share that with others. And there are so many people who do the same. And yeah, I use AI by myself like every day, all day. So I think, a person who is really in front of it and knowing how I can use it,
Yeah.
and share that with others to do the same, and learning and evolving and testing. I think that's really, really important. And it needs to help us. And I think that's the most important of all. It needs to help us and get us in balance as well. So it's not a goal to use AI, but it's a goal to help you to make yourself better, or achieve more, or put you in a position that you can feel yourself better. And it helps you, like the co-pilot. So as we need to say, it's your co-pilot.
But I think for a lot of people, it's like a day job to keep up with all these developments, right? So I think you need
True.
to cherry pick a bit as well, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, and like, for example, if you talk about M365 Copilot, it is in your environment, it is in your work to work day, but there are so many AI tools you can use, and there are so many things that you can
Yeah.
figure out. So I think it's good to choose where you want to focus on. Is it like your productivity way? So for me, it's a lot of on my productivity way, but you can choose as well that you think about, okay, I want to do game changing difference, for
Yeah.
example, processes, and I want to automate it with, for example, Copilot or with an agent. So there are different ways where you can think about, okay, how can I involve Copilot and where do I want to use it? But it's a lot to keep tracking, and it's a lot to know what's new and what's in front. And there are so many new things coming out like every day. And I think for the role that I have as a chief co-pilot isn't this probably really important, because it is so many
Yeah.
that comes out that people like to see that, and hearing what is new and how they can use it in a really easy and personal way, how they can use it by themselves. And what we see a lot from marketing perspective is that we see all kind of big marketing stuff popping around, and every world is changing with AI, and no job will be the same anymore. But how can we make it to make it an impact for you as a person? How can it make an impact on your role? For example, in your marketing role or in your C-level role, that you have your strategy on your or for your company. What is the impact? Yeah, I really like to share that with a lot of people. Microsoft has a lot of materials that you can use, of course, as well. a lot of Microsoft MVPs who share their knowledge. Yeah, there are pretty good events as well in the market because, like offline meetings, like Expert Live is an example. There are a lot of Expert Lives worldwide now. We have 15 Expert Live events that popping up globally because people really want to learn in one day a lot of new information around, for example, AI.
And those are physical events, like what,
Yeah, yeah,
in real life events, sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the same, for example, the community that we have with women in Dutch women in tech. We have like every month there is a new event with a different subject, and I think that really helps well to keep on track and that people knowing not only from personal learnings but as well from technology learnings that there were so many communities and communities growing really fast. And in the Netherlands, we are really good in building community, especially around Microsoft technology.
And I think that also helps people to actually pick something where they can actually start and adapt that in their process or their life or productivity or.
True. And yeah, one of the things that also is really great to mention is, we're talking about the world of AI, but for example, we also talking about cybersecurity. Like everything around AI has the same subject that you need to talk about cybersecurity as well when you're talking about AI. And we need more people in that field, both in that field, like in AI fields. We need more people in the cybersecurity fields. When we talk about like women in tech, I think that's a really nice subject as well to mention in here. And the different community events that there are is like, for example, the Women in Cyber community event that we are hosting every year. Really important to get new technology people in the fields with new perspective, and they also learning about cybersecurity, but as well around AI. And I think it's really good to have people who have no experience with AI or no experience with cybersecurity, that they have like a start somewhere with a program somewhere, and then have a community around us that they should keep learning new things and keep stay ahead of what's coming.
Yeah.
And I think especially cybersecurity, because I think that's still very male driven, if I can say it like that, but it's a very technical area. So I think the population there is definitely more male than female at this point.
Yeah.
True.
And what does more women in tech bring? In this case, what is the case you would make for women to go into tech, and why is it important, and B, how does it benefit both men and women?
Yeah, I think there is a lack of diversity in tech in general. So it's really good to have like different perspective on the products as well. If we only making products made by men, then we know what's happening with that. But it's really good to have like different voices in development, but as well in the usage from the different products that we have. And for example, now in the cybersecurity fields, there is a big lack on the women part, and
but also of people in general, I think.
In general as well. I think in general as well. And when we see in, for example, like starting in new AI roles, we see more women there because it's happening more than in cybersecurity fields. And like the programs for women in cyber is really helpful for women to start their career. So we have the last 2 years, we had a women in cyber program for 2 years. Now we had that almost 300 women in it worldwide. We were there and I did an 8-week program around cybersecurity and get inspired about what is cybersecurity exactly. And they also had a fundamentals certification, and they're actually starting now at an cybersecurity partner from Microsoft. We do the same as at Wordell. We always say, okay, we take one of that woman that was in the program, we give them a chance in our organization.
Only one?
And, only one. But we have 2 women now that are started.
I mean, if every company would do this, that would be amazing, right? And I think it's always, I mean, we all started our journey somewhere, right? So it's amazing if you have these companies who can actually give people the opportunity, who can give people a chance to build their career and to start their journey.
Yeah, sorry, I need to maybe clarify this a bit.
Okay.
Where I was coming from is an interview I had about just over a year ago, and she told me, well, you can hire one person, one woman, and then she's sort of alone. If you hire two women or multiple women into a team, they change the culture faster for you, and they also have someone
They have
to
each
share.
other. Yeah.
They have each other, so they stay longer. So that's where I was coming from, and that's why only one. But
Because
of
I
course,
think, yeah.
But it's
And the
not
leaking pipeline is still an issue as well. So I get where you're coming from, because we see a lot of people entering the market, but then we see a lot of women dropping off as well somewhere along their journey still. So
yeah, that's true. And I don't need to say, I don't want to say just only one, but that's what they'll say. Okay, every year we say, yeah, you give it from us, that we always say, okay, we hire one, but there are a lot of women in the team already, so it's a really great, warm combination, good diversity in our cybersecurity team. So that's really nice, with a lot of mentoring and a lot of help. And the fun part is, like, one of the women that were in the cybersecurity program, and that is now in our SOC. So she's analyst, but she came from a designer, so really something difficult. She didn't speak any Dutch, so that was also new. Like, okay, we are a typical Dutch company, and now we are changing as well in our organization in all kind of ways, that we going more international. And one of the fun things that I want to mention is she is like one of the best performance at this moment, because she really, really, really want to perform.
yeah.
And she's really good. So it's like, for everyone who's listening or thinking about, okay, they have no background, or no, it cost me so many days, years to invest in someone. We see the opposite. Yes, it costs time and but like the will of doing it, want to be one of the best of the teams. They are, she is going so fast. So it's really nice to share that as well, that people are really willing, that goes fast, and that they are, how do we say, they are really good for the team as well.
I think motivation is really important, right? And to be honest, because earlier on you said you're an MVP, and I kind of know a bit about your journey, but it's not that you became an MVP overnight, right? I mean, you really put the effort in to actually become an MVP, and put in all the years of effort and work, and that was a tough journey as well.
That was a tough journey as well, and I really wanted that at that moment. Yeah, that is where Henrika and I know each other. So I didn't work at Wortel already. Before that, I talked with Henrika, and I said, I just want to be more visible. I want to grow. I want to speak more. I want to do more things. But it's really scared to be out of the fields, and what people think about me. And I had a few times a nomination on MVP, and always they say, no, you're not technical enough, or you had not enough leadership, or there were so many things that it's never happened. And Henrika was the one that say, you need to go for it and do it. And here you have some social media planning board that you can fill in and get focus and do the things that you like and that you love. And that's the most important. And then it will come, and she was right. It will come. It doesn't need to be like an ambition. It doesn't need to be, you don't have to post every day like new content, or you don't have to be in presence so much. But doing the things that you like and that you love, and being yourself, and have a focus on different topics, that works really well.
Yeah, I think the motivation is really important for a lot of people. And I agree with you. If you give people the opportunity, if you just hire people with the right motivation, it will always work out.
Yeah, I believe in that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was wondering, many women, and I think I heard you say something along those lines as well, hesitate to position themselves as experts.
Hmm.
How did that work for you? How did that journey come about?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't overnight and you got help, which is, yeah, I think fully okay.
Yeah. I always like everything what I learned, I want to share, and I want to put it somewhere, and that I can help someone else with it, with who have probably the same problem and can use my content, for example. But going out, sharing your knowledge, and putting yourself on a stage, or
Hmm.
it's not easy. That's not what you're doing.
It's not the comfort zone.
It's not the comfort zone. No, pretty not. But I think it's, yeah, one of the things, like, for example, yesterday I spoke with one of my friends. We were living now in Miami. She is now, did yesterday the first session at a conference in Miami, the very first speaker sessions. And I have a lot of women around the world, and not only women as well, men around the world, who are really now my friends, and where we help each other around and learning from each other. And yeah, when she say, okay, I did it and I really want this, that's for me the most important part, that I can showcase what I can do and inspire others to do the same. And I think that's for me the most important, to go out and share my knowledge and put myself in that position to get more people as well in the field. But more people who want to make a next step in their career or want to start with speaking as well. And yeah, I see the same, for example, like Expert Life. We're growing there with more women as well on stage. And we do different things than years before with our communication and pictures, and how we get out as a community. Or yeah, we're evolving because now we totally understand more how important it is to focusing more on this topic.
Hmm.
And the same as like going to an yeah I when I just started with speaking on conference, yeah, most of the time when I'm at a conference, sometimes it's like 99% or 90%, or some like 75% are men in a conference.
Hmm.
This week I was in Budapest. I think 90% of the people who were there in the room were men. And I don't want to say that it's not good, but especially in that kind of area, it's a man-dominated world. Yeah, it's not always easy to stand there and doing that kind of things.
But I think it's also because you're very visible, right? And I know you really made an effort to put yourself out there, but I think there's also a challenge in putting yourself out there because it's not always nice, right? People are not
Mm.
always supportive or very positive about these things.
Especially when you think about the Netherlands, right? The Netherlands, we always say, doe maar gewoon.
Yeah.
We can be very hard for each other, right? It's
Mhm.
really,
It
it's
is.
not easy.
It's not easy.
There's this famous saying that you don't put yourself, your head above the
The
hoofd
field.
The
boven
field.
head
Yeah.
over the field because it gets chopped.
Yes. Yeah, it happens a lot, but there are as well a lot of people who are really positive. So I think that's the most important. You can look at the negative things, but you also can look at the positive things and focusing on that. And that's what I try to do. But yes, it's not good, and it's not really.
Is that how you manage it? Is that how you, just by staying focused on the positive, does that make the
Yes.
negative a bit more easy?
Yeah, and try to help others as well, because I know there are more people who have the same experience as well when they putting themselves in front and being more visible. Yeah, there are a lot of people, I think, as well, maybe just jealous. Yeah, it sounds probably really stupid, but yeah,
Does that jealousy come from only from men or also from
no,
women who say like, hey, tone it down a bit?
both. No, yeah, just not only men.
I mean, women can be mean for each other as well, dear John. This is like, I'm
Yeah.
Yeah,
laughing, but I'm like, yes,
yes,
this kind of is an issue.
No, I knew, and that's why I
Yeah.
was wondering what your experience was, Femke, with it.
yeah, yeah. But for example, like a few I had that a few times, and one of the things that I got from someone was, okay, go back to the kitchen, you women. Why are you, that kind of things. And then I'm thinking, okay, block, next, go
Why did you
away.
leave your place?
Yeah, and then I think, okay, this is it. And then I'm just, sort of sometimes in the beginning I was like crying and I think I stopped and now I'm thinking, okay, there's another one.
Yeah, just go knock yourself out. Don't bother me.
Yeah. So you learn how to go with it and go in the flow. And I think it's getting better how more you grow by yourself and being respectful to more people. But in the beginning, it was not always easy. I think it's getting better for me at this moment than in the moment that I spoke with you, Hendrika. You helped me a lot with that, to get more visible by just doing, be yourself and do it.
But also a bit ignoring, let's say, negative inputs. So a bit, there is quite a bit of mindset involved as well then, I guess.
Yeah, it is. You really need to have a good mindset to put yourself on stage, and share your knowledge. And of course, there are as well so many people who are saying, "Oh, this is really great." But I need to say, I don't know if it's for everyone the same, but we are as a woman mostly of the time not really. We want to step forward, right? I hear a lot of women around me who say, okay, am I good enough? Do I really want this? Is this same as like in your organization to get paid more? Or do I really want to make a next step? Am I good enough? Waiting for someone who's coming to me and say, yes, you're good enough. You really deserve this. And instead of the other way around. I think I think a lot of women are just waiting, and I hope that
Maybe modest or humble. I'm not quite sure what the right word is, but I agree. And I think that's very Dutch as well, because it's what we teach little girls as well, right?
Yeah.
You just need to be quiet, normal, caring. And I think
Clean.
that's still a thing. I think that's still a thing. And I wanted to discuss it here because I think that it's really important that people, when they enter tech, that they know that they can push through, that they don't have to drop off because of the opinion of others. And I mean, you have a nice story when people follow you on LinkedIn. I mean, there's a lot of positivity around that, but you had your fair share of negativity as well that you had to deal with on your journey.
True. And I think that's why I really like to share that story as well. And when something happens, for example, a few weeks ago, I needed to do a podcast in Istanbul, and I needed to be there. And they told me that I can talk about women. I cannot talk about women in tech in that podcast because it's a world where it's not good to talk about women in tech because they only want to talk about men. And yes, you are here and you are the one that is invited, but we don't want you that you talk about your career because that's not what we want to share. We want to have it about Copilots and all the things that. So
Well, it's very interesting that they decided to invite you then.
true
Yes.
about
Did
my
you go?
expertise. So yeah, I did.
Did you go?
Yes. But so they said that in the car from the airplane to the studio. They said, okay, but you cannot talk about your career. And
you were like, bring me back now.
so I was a little bit, and I fly in and I fly out. Most of the time I fly in and fly out and do something like that. But as well, I was really in shock. I don't know if I want this. What are the expectations? What can I say? This is like all kind of ways. And they just want to learn about how I use Copilot, and I can tell more about that, about the AI changings that are there. And so I was surprised.
Yeah, how did you mentally prepare for this interview? Because you hear this in the car and you were like, well, thanks for
No,
the
got
compliment, not?
three. Yeah, that's not easy. And then I think, okay, we will see. We will figure out what is. I learned something new about this culture. I learned something new. And I really appreciate where I'm from that was as well my first thought. And I think, okay, the Netherlands is not so bad. But they say as well, for your own safety, like it's good to do it not for your own safety, because you don't know who people responsible is here. Better do it not than talking about it. And you are here and something happens. So I was as well a little bit scared. And
although you had the opportunity to make a great example by actually being there as a female talking about Copilot, right? I mean, indirectly, you really made your mark.
And they made their point to the contrary of what they actually wanted to make.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but a lot of things in my journey that are happening, and then I'm thinking about, okay, this happened. Now we need to share even more how important it is that we that we get more women on the stage, showcasing what they can, showcasing what is possible, and as well helping others in their journey, in growing in their journey, and starting in tech, for example. It doesn't matter what, but we have like more diversity. We needed really more diversity in all kind of ways. Yeah, for example, we talked about the MVP already a little bit. Yeah, in the Netherlands, they are like 50 of 12 or 50, something like that. Not much. Microsoft MVPs in it. And we are like one of the biggest in the Netherlands, biggest countries that has MVPs. So it's like as
so
well
that's actually
there.
Good.
Yes, but that's actually good. We have a lot of supportive people. We have a lot of people who are sharing, but a lot of men who are doing that. So we definitely need more women there as well. In the almost 200 MVPs that are in the Netherlands, are there like 50 are just women. So we need different perspective there as well, and they are popping up more and more and more. So it's good.
I think so. Earlier you said that in the AI field we see women popping up a bit more. Do you think that AI can really be an accelerator for that?
Yeah, I think my opinion, if you look at AI, can help us as well in our journey, right? In our journey in our own role, or if I'm thinking about my role and how I use Copilot or I use AI, there is like I can do things that I never imagined that I could do that. So I think it's help for everyone in their grow paths that they can be who they really want to be, for example, and grow by using AI. For example, in cybersecurity, learning about cybersecurity or all kind of ways. And one of the things that I especially like for myself and how I use, for example, Copilot in my day-to-day.
I was going to ask, I was really curious if you can give a practical example.
Yeah, for example, like what I do is, and I do that every day, is I'm talking with different AI tools. So not only Copilot, but I use it as well, like ChatGPT. But I do that, for example, as well in my Outlook. So what I do in Outlook is dictation. So I talk about what I want to say in the email, and then I put Copilot on it. But what I do, I talk just in Dutch. And then I ask Copilot to make it in an English version in Outlook. And then I have a like really, really nice email. And I'm thinking, it's like 3 seconds. And normally that cost me so many, because my English is not the best, right? It's so it helped me to make it better in like 3 seconds with an answer that is really me and what I want to say.
With your tone of voice.
With my tone of voice, yeah. So
I think it's interesting. This week I was wondering, do people actually Google still? I mean, I just ask questions in my AI tool, like, hey, listen up, this is the information I'm looking for. And then in a split second, you have all of that. I mean, it's to me, it's still mind-blowing.
Yeah, I don't use Google anymore. I only use AI all the time.
It was one of the reasons, I think, for Google to invest heavily into AI and to speed that up.
To Gemini,
when ChatGPT launched, because they saw it coming.
Yeah.
They saw literally, because I'm using ChatGPT and Claude to look up all kinds of things, and now is getting better with quoting the sources of information.
So, Femke, do you think we're still behind in AI adoption? When you look at all these companies that you work with, that you speak with, do you feel that we're still behind on the adoption part?
Yes, we are. I think the possibilities are really big by using AI, and I think a lot of people really don't know where to start, how to use, and what it is. And I think a lot of companies don't know, really understand that they are behind their concurrent
Yeah,
competition,
competition.
because they have no idea. They just keep going and have no idea what's happening in the world. And when I'm thinking especially about adoption, yeah, we are really behind that, especially in the European markets. We are,
Why?
yeah, that's a really good question. We see, for example, if you look into the Nordics,
Hmm.
they are way more farther than we are.
Really? I had no clue. Wow.
Yeah, that's, for example, like my opinion is, for example, that because we have things like NIS and all kind of things that we need to do from a governance perspective. So there's a focusing on that. And people are scared around data governance or using AI tools. So there is a lack of trust using AI in the Netherlands, I think, because I know so many people around me who actually never ever used, for example, ChatGPT or Copilot or something
No,
like
I
that, because they are fearless for it. They are shaming if they are using Copilot or yes. So we are, I don't know, in the Netherlands, we are really just waiting until there is happening something that we all need, and that we same with the corona, that we all need to use Teams and working from home.
People were
Otherwise,
forced.
yeah,
yeah.
People were
yeah,
really forced. It's interesting because I'm like, you're stupid if you're not using AI currently. So my
yeah,
mindset is totally different than,
yeah. But if you look like the market and you see like
yeah.
people, everyone use it, different kind of tools. Like they're saying 78% in organizations using AI, but it's not from the leadership decision. So everyone is using the data from that company, put it everywhere in it, but it's not that they say, okay, we deliver you the tools so you can use it on a fair way, on a good way, with the good governance, the good security. So what's actually happening is that everyone do it by themselves, and we have a lot of shadow AI, how they call it.
And that's
So
an issue, right? I mean,
that's, yeah, that's a really issue. If you put something in for example, ChatGPT, and you don't, you get it, and the other kind of the world, the other part of the world comes out, then you have a big problem. Yes. So yeah, it's interesting time that we are in. I think showcasing what we can, how we can use it on a safety way. But there need to be leadership decisions made, I think, about how to use AI on a fair way, in a good way, in the different companies.
Okay. So I was wondering, because we talked a bit about security in AI as already.
Mm.
So they say that AI systems reflect the biases of the people who build them.
Yeah, yeah,
Now you're an expert user of AI, at least of Copilot, and I think you're farther along than many, many other people that I talk to. So how do you see the role of women in changing those biases and changing the systems to make AI, let's say, more representative of us all?
yeah. Yeah, I think that this is exactly what is missing at this moment. If you ask, like, for example, Microsoft designer to make an image around a woman with a cup of coffee, then you always get someone who is really straight, blonde, big boobs, you name it, everything around that, because we think that's the normal woman. So yeah, I think in all the products there is a lack of that at the moment. And I think when I'm really looking at Microsoft and the product teams, they're you see that they're working with good diversity and they are really aware of this. And there are a lot of teams who are working on this, where if you see something like on Copilot or Microsoft Designer, you can share that with the teams, and they are actually really looking at it and how they can make it better for the future and how they make it more representative for everyone in this world. So my advice for everyone who is seeing that or finding something, please report, because that's actually really helpful. But yeah, of course, we need a different perspective as well in our SOC, for example, at Bortel, at
What is
our
a SOC?
security division. Yeah, where we're analyzing our security issues.
Okay.
Yeah, because like in every kind of team, in every kind of company, we need a diverse perspective. And where we're building new products, we have different kind of views over there.
And that's not just men, women, right? I mean, that's diversity in the broader perspective.
True.
I think it's interesting because if you ask AI to make a picture of a doctor, I think 9 out of 10 times you get a man.
Yeah. Or a pilot, same thing.
And then a white man, right? 9 out of 10 times that as well. So it's
True.
like really interesting. And then middle-aged.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah, so we have a lot of things that can be better.
But is it also about women indeed using and reporting it? So using the AI tools and starting to use them, even though, well, it may be scary, and then reporting if they see something that is, let's say, sexist or wrong or...
Yeah, I think if you see something, that is always good to report and just say it, so that they're actually can work on it. But
yeah, well, it's good to hear that at least Microsoft teams are then taking that seriously, because I'm really hesitant reporting something unless it's a bug. Then I usually do report it, but otherwise I'm like, well, they probably will not do anything with it anyway.
Yeah, and I think you as a user is responsible for the end result, right? Because you get something from, for example, Copilot, and you can say, okay, I can take this and I put this in my presentation, or what you want to do with it. But you are the end responsible for that, for the product that you deliver, or that kind of text that you generated with AI. So don't take everything really serious, and always have like a mind on it to make it right. Yeah, I think we are the real problem. We are the people by themselves.
So I was wondering, because AI needs to be trained, right? So I was just wondering if these visuals come up, and if women just start using AI more intensively, and if we just tell AI or ChatGPT, for example, hey, listen up, I'm meaning a woman in this picture, can you adjust that? Don't you think that if we do that massively, that we're going to train AI better, and that we're going to have a better representation in that area?
I think if we do that, yes, but it depends on what kind of AI tool you use. For example, ChatGPT, yes, it's there to train to make it better, and how more it gets used, how better the algorithm going to go to work. So you get a profile as well there, right, on your based how you use, what kind of questions you ask. So ChatGPT create a profile, but for example, Copilot, which has as well ChatGPT behind it, doesn't allow a profile. They say it gives you a profile, and it say that it understands you, but that's not true. That's hallucination. It's not the real thing. It's also really interesting to, okay, what kind of things do we believe that the tool actually give us back? And some of the tools we actually can train and can make it better.
But am I hearing you say now that I can change or I can train Copilot, but I cannot train?
You can, if you have like your ChatGPT, you can say to ChatGPT, I am Dirk Jan, this is my age, this is what I want to be. Give me always an example in bullet points, that kind of way. I always want, when I'm asking for a picture of a woman, I always want a woman with blonde hair, I don't know, or brown hair, that kind of things. And ChatGPT will know that you have that preparations and that you always want that. You can do the same with Copilot, but Copilot says, okay, I will do that, but never do it because it's not, Copilot can't do it, but it says it can do it.
It doesn't learn.
It isn't learn, not yet.
Okay. Well, thanks. I was about to try out Copilot for a number of things, but I can now safely.
I think the interesting thing of Copilot, right, is because it integrates in your whole 365 suite. I mean, it touches all these areas, so it's the use case is massively different than I think what a lot of people use ChatGPT for example, or
true.
Claude or tools like that. So it's a really different use case, but it is interesting though.
It is, and it is not that it's not going to happen. And I think there are a lot of great stuff on the roadmap that is really, 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 really great. But for now, sometimes you give like an example back that you can say, okay, thank you that you say that you this always going to do in that kind of way. I always want to have focus time between 8 and 9 and put that always in my calendar, and then Copilot says, okay, I will do it for you. And then it's not, it doesn't
next day you have to ask again.
Ask again, because it's that cannot.
So you need to be very good at prompting then.
The problem is people don't know how to work with Copilots, and they don't understand Copilot yet because they are already working with, for example, with ChatGPT. And Copilot and ChatGPT are two different things, where Copilot will have different scenarios that are really, really, really good, but different than using, for example, the ChatGPT for making some text and for knowing your performance and how you want it. And the integration of Copilot in your environment, that's gold. That's really good.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Copilot sign in my Word document with questions right now. So
good. Where are we with the questions?
I was actually I was wondering, because you know each other through Dutch women in tech.
Yeah.
Can you tell a bit more about the community? What it does, why it's there, what it doesn't do?
Yeah, it started 3 years ago, the Dutch Women in Tech community. And I think it's one of my biggest passion. And it started with the company that I worked at that moment there. And I wanted to go to different community events. And I always was like kind of the only one at a community event, the only women that went to an event. So I thought maybe it's good to have like a group of people who joining together a community event or going to other events with each other. So let's make really small. Let's make a Teams environment, asking people to join and sharing some stories there as well. And what we really want to do is like sharing how really great working in tech is. So the things that I learned from the past, I never know that I'm really enjoying tech that much. And I was thinking, okay, more people need to know this because this is a really good field to work in. So 3 years ago, we started with a Teams environment and events every month at a different partner. And the mission is really like, okay, how can we share how really great it is in tech and get more women in tech? And actually, we saw that people joining us that are already in technology.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the first thing that why we started, but the need was there, that there is a group that's come together with women that are already in the tech field. So I'm really surprised that it grows so hard and that really so many people wanted to join. We have now 2,000 women in the Netherlands that are joined. So it's really big.
Okay.
And we have like every month a new subject and a new partner. So the partner gets the possibility to share as well who they are, and another subject that they can relate it to their company, sometimes more from personal perspective. This is something like personal branding, or something like how can we have more women in tech, or different kind of subjects. But as well, sometimes we have like more technology subjects like AI or security, or all kind of different topics that we provide. now we have like almost 10 people who work on this community, and make it grow. And we have 2 programs that we going to deliver every year. So one is the Woman in Cyber program, that 8-week program, and we also going to do the Women in AI program. So that's a new one that we're going to start from March, we think, and then provide there again with new partners and the possibility for everyone who is not already in the field can learn from what it is, where to start. Mostly the nicest thing is, I think, is that you, for example, like the Women in Cyber, that you have like a program and that people can ask questions and that you have the same kind of people around you and there is no fear and everyone has the feeling, okay, what is this kind of subject? What kind of things that everyone is the same and we feel all kind of the same. And what we see now, we have a gala 7 March on International Women's Day, because there are a lot of friends over there now, and there's a big WhatsApp group and everyone is joining with each other and some of them finding jobs somewhere. And it's more than just like a small community. It's changing lives, something like that. So that's how it feels like. So yeah, it's really thankful work to do, creating community, creating some knowledge, and we have people around us who are mentoring these girls as well. So a lot of people from Microsoft mentoring these girls for that 8-week program, and then they have certification and they have a first start to start finding a role if they want. So yeah, really nice to do. And after that, we also going together like to Expert Life, or we going together to Collapse Days, or we go together to other events. And if there is something like a need in the community, we try to arrange that, and we try to help them with that subject. It's really nice, and we're growing bigger with this Women in Tech right now because we want to scale again bigger and make it better.
Okay.
Because it's a lot of work. And for example, like the community and teams, you need to have like a team around it to make it alive and creating subjects. And so that's for this year our goal to bring that again back to life, and that we get more ambassadors to get them as well already in the field, and getting more women excited to start as well.
Very cool. Yeah.
And there is nothing like a commercial thing in it. It's all how do we say, vrijwilligers?
Non-profit charity.
Non-profits.
Yeah, and the community is ran by volunteers.
Volunteers. Yeah.
Yes. So it's really wonderful to do, and I think as well we are now thinking about doing an award show, and we have like a gala that it's popping up. So it's we have like a high wine, and it's really funny. All kind of sort of women related things happening. We had a session with a photographer, and we had all kind of makeup evening, and we have like color testing, and that's in combination with technology.
Yeah.
I really like it, and sometimes some people are joining 1 month and then 2 months not, and it's really fun. One of the things that is also well really nice to hear is that 50% of the people who are joining us in the events, so the monthly events that we have, 50% of them are new. So they are
that's really nice.
Not related already on the community, and they want to figure out where to start. And what we really want to provide is like starter points to reach out, like to the security meetup, or to like the global AI community, or to the SharePoint community that is there. And actually we see there as well changing a more diversity, because we are starting with our community there and helping them to provide a next step and going together. So it's really nice that we're setting up something like this that can grow to bigger and more scalable communities.
Sounds cool. So I want to move towards closing. I'm on a mission to make inclusion in tech the new normal by the end of 2032. Where would you start, or what would be your advice?
keep pushing the conversation forward. I think we need more role models, visible role models in tech. It's really important. Keep pushing. Don't stop. Mentoring, help people with community building, change people from perspective from them hiring in leadership. I think Wortel is a great example by saying at least one
Yeah.
we hire. If everyone is doing that, I think we can change actually a really big thing with each other. I think storytelling is really important. That we really need to do that. Don't be afraid to tell your story, because you can change your life, the lives of someone else as well. So just do it and let other people talk what they want.
Yeah, I'll do that anyway. So
Yeah, you're not alone. We are a community focusing on the positive side,
yeah,
and storytelling can be really important to showcase what you learned, and you can help others as well.
cool. Thanks. Any famous
I
last
love
words?
I love this because it's these small things that make a difference for people, right? And we often don't realize it, but I think it's sharing these small things can really make an impact for others. So I really love what you said.
Thanks.
Sounds like a
Great.
great place to close. Femke, if people want to connect with you or learn more about you, about your journey, about Vortel, about Dutch women in tech, where would you like to send them?
My LinkedIn, I think.
Yeah, that's where you're sort of omnipresent.
Yeah, yeah. Or I have an AKNS/Femke. And
Okay.
an own Microsoft URL, so you can find me there as well.
Okay. So we'll put those links in the show notes. Femke
Great.
Cornelissen, thanks for an amazing conversation. Hendrika, thanks for being a great co-host.
Thank you for having me.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Femke, for the nice conversation.
You're
And
welcome.
listeners, thanks very much for listening. And until the next episode, keep being awesome. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to episode 89 of Women Disrupting Tech with Chief Copilot Femke Cornelissen on how she's paving the way for more women in AI and cyber. Femke, Hendrika, and I hope that you've enjoyed our conversation as much as we did. A big shout out to Hendrika, who was my guest in episodes 10 and 25, for being a great co host. If you want to learn more about Femke Cornelissen, her work at Wortel and the Dutch Women in Tech community, feel free to connect with her via the links in the show notes. As usual, you can find the show notes at womendisruptingtech.blog. On the same website, you can also become a member of the Women Disrupting Tech community. As a member, you get early access to new episodes, you get a handwritten email with the magical moments and practical insights of the episode, plus you'll be the first to hear when new blog posts come online. So check out the show notes for a link. When you're looking for a role model to inspire your own hero's journey in tech, I invite you to check out one of the other episodes of this podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And if you're a regular listener, please give the show a rating or a review, because that way you help other people discover the podcast. If you're a male ally and you want to help the Women Disrupting Tech make this podcast obsolete by the end of 2032, there's a simple thing you can do. Please share the podcast with friends, family, and co-workers, because this way you give my guests a platform they need to make it happen. Finally, if you want to connect with me, you can reach me via dirkjan@womendisruptingtech.blog, or you can send me a DM on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, simply type in my name and you'll find me. With that, I wish you a wonderful day. I hope to see you in the next episode, and until then, keep being awesome.